You've had time to reflect upon that lavish ceremony that we discussed yesterday. But have you also had time to reflect on this urgent application from President Zelensky to join NATO? If NATO accepts that, it fundamentally changes everything.
Just to be brief on the NATO application, Ukraine has done exactly what Finland and Sweden have done. We have applied under the same procedure. If they can, so can we. There shouldn't be exceptions from exceptions. We have proved as a country that we are standing by NATO values, that we are proceeding on NATO standards, that we are able to use the same weapons, that we are able to train together with other NATO troops, and we actually have a lot to contribute to NATO becoming a stronger organization. And actually, I think that for the benefit of NATO countries and for the benefit of Ukraine and overall peace and security, it's better for Ukraine to become a member state and to unite efforts to quench down Russia's aggression once and for all, than to keep playing the political game and go into year-long discussions about whether Ukraine merits or doesn't merit to be part of NATO. That's the part on NATO. The part on reflecting about what actually happened in Moscow and the annexation. Well, actually, it looks like Putin was playing another one of his psychological games. I just analyzed how I felt and what the whole world was talking about yesterday. Well, the whole world was talking about the sham referendum, the yet another crime committed by Russia, which is the crime of annexation, and the increase of civilian death toll in Ukraine because of Russian missile launches. But the whole world was silent on the fact that Ukrainian army was continuing the advances in the east of Ukraine, that we actually almost regained Liman, which is an area in the northeast of Ukraine, which is a critical one for holding the Luhansk region and for holding also the Donetsk region in Ukraine. The whole world has been silent on the fact that Ukrainian army is advancing very confidently down in Kherson, and it is likely that we will be regaining the territories in Kherson within the next week. And this was, I think, the main goal of Putin, to distract both Ukrainians, the international community, and Russians from the fact that Ukraine is actually winning, and there's no way to postpone or to make sure that victory for Ukraine doesn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating, because I put my hand upon my heart and swear to you that the next words that are up here and in my notes are, it is reported this morning that your forces are surrounding the Russian-held town of Lyman in Donetsk. What is the latest? You've just answered that, but you're right, it's not widely reported elsewhere. But what you said to me yesterday, and it was ringing in my head when I read that news report this morning, was you said this will spark resistance, not only the Ukrainian army saying we're going to have that back, it's ours, it's not Russian, but also local people who live in those regions like Donetsk. They will fight back like the French resistance in the Second World War. That started.
Well, absolutely. I mean, with Ukraine army advancing, the people on the territories that are occupied or that are now being proclaimed from the Kremlin as Russian, the people are going, of course, to have a confidence to fight back. Because it's one thing to resist for years and years until the end of your life. It's another thing to resist for a couple of days, knowing well enough that reinforcement is coming, and that reinforcement is wearing Ukrainian uniform and carrying NATO standard weapons.